Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Yanez, the director of the Senior Adult Program at the El Paso Community College, and this is the Mature Living Show. We're always looking for people to highlight, people that are so meaningful to us, have taught us here in El Paso, and I want to introduce you to Dr. John Haddox, who is a doctor of philosophy. He's been a professor at UTEP for 50 years. What a celebration of life. And that's what we're all about here on Mature Living. And so I'd like to have Dr. Haddox just to welcome you here to the Mature Living Show. I want to celebrate with you on your 50 years. And I also want to say, and just to mention, that when I was 18 years old, on the UTEP campus, working there, you roamed the halls with your exams, and I'm sure you've graduated many students that have taken your classes. Tell us a little bit about when you came to El Paso.
Well, I came here in the Army. I was in an accident. I was at Fort Hood, and I was in an accident, and I was sent to William Beaumont Hospital to have my eye removed. And they performed surgery and saved the eyeball, but I stayed on as a medical corpsman. And
what year was that, Dr. Haddox?
1950, I think.
57, you said, or something, in the 50s?
Yeah, 51.
51.
And when I came here, fortunately, I love books, so I went to the library very often, and there was a beautiful young woman working at the library, a pre-med student at Texas Western, and we got talking, and I got to know her a little bit, and we started dating, and she's been my wife for the last 52 years.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations!
Yeah,
that's
a wonderful wife.
That's quite a feat there to be married to a beautiful woman that you met here in El Paso.
And
did you like El Paso? What happened there? Did you?
Oh, I liked it very much. And then I went back to Notre Dame to get my doctorate, and my wife Carmen came with me and taught. We worked for the math department at Notre Dame, and then the babies started coming, and we've been blessed with 11 children.
Yes.
And my time here has been wonderful. I've enjoyed teaching here so much. One thing I love about UTEP is that so many of the students are the first ones in their family to get a degree.
Yes.
And I've had so many wonderful students. And I've had a great time working in Latin American philosophy. I had a chance to travel in Mexico a great deal. I love to travel in Mexico, been all over every part of Mexico. I also love to travel to Europe. I've taken students to Europe. This is, the last time was my 36th time in Europe.
So?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Over the years, starting back when I was a student at Notre Dame. And it's been terrific teaching here. I've been able to publish some books on Mexican philosophy, one on Jose Vasconcelos, one on Antonio Caso, many articles. Had a chance to publish a great deal in that whole area. It's been quite a blessing to be here.
And what an amazing life. 50 years at UTEP, 52 years with 11 kids later, and I understand you have 3 that you adopted as well, you and your wife?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, we had 8, and then we adopted the last 3.
Wonderful. Yeah. Your time at UTEP, and when you started, how many students?
When I came here, there were about 4,000 students.
At Texas Western College?
Yes, and my pay was $4,000 for the year. Yes. Things have changed quite a bit. I used to have very small classes. When I first came, the philosophy department consisted of 2 people, Dr. Crawford and myself.
I remember Dr. Crawford.
Yeah.
Joe Crawford?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a very good
Joseph.
friend. And then Rabbi Fearman taught part-time for us. And Patsy Rennick, Dr. Rennick's wife.
Yes.
So we had 2 part-time. Now the department's up to 7 full-time, and it's really flourishing. I've been blessed with my department too. Had wonderful colleagues over the years. I've been the chair of the department several times. I just finished being an interim chair. Thank heavens I'm through.
Yes. You need a break, Dr. Haddox.
Yeah, I'm happy that they had a wonderful celebration for my 50 years here.
Yes.
We had a 3-day conference. People came and gave talks. People from California and Illinois and Boston, all over. And that was really a wonderful occasion. And I'm planning to teach full-time next year. I have one class with 200 students. I never taught that big a class before.
In the middle and you're in your 70s. Can you imagine what footsteps and what shoes we have to fill as we grow into aging? What has been your secret to working with the students?
Oh, I just love it so. I'm always amazed that I get paid for doing something I enjoy so much.
That you love to do, and that is
really
to teach.
Yeah, I just enjoy it so much. I have ever since I started. When I first came to Texas Western, Dr. Crawford asked me to teach a class in the philosophy of science, medieval philosophy, Latin American philosophy, and I think the other was modern philosophy. I had never taught any of these courses before, so I was busy preparing. And I never even heard of Latin American philosophy, so I quickly started working. And my wife is Spanish speaking, so she started translating for me, and I started learning some Spanish.
You speak very, very well. I've heard you speak Spanish, and I know you love to do that.
Yeah, but so I've been very blessed.
So the books that you've written have all been in that area?
Yeah, I've written articles about Native Americans.
Okay.
When I was growing up, I was adopted by the Pawnee Indian tribe by a family. My name's Kiwakutiwali.
And what does that mean?
It means walking fox.
Walking fox.
Yeah, my brothers and sisters used to laugh at me. They said it wasn't running, dancing fox, it was walking fox.
Walking fox. Well, you had a good walk, a good, beautiful walk of life. Yes. And so you were adopted by the Indian tribe.
Yes. And I go back for homecoming in the summer usually.
And where's that at?
I still dance. Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Okay. In Oklahoma. Wow. Yeah. What an amazing life. What an amazing story. You are just amazing to all of us. And you're still going to be doing some work for the Center for Lifelong Learning.
Yes, I do that almost every semester. I love those classes, no grading.
Yes, that's it. No stress, no tests.
And the classes are always very responsive. I'm doing a class this summer on the Louvre Museum in Paris. Going to have 4 classes, and going to go the history of the Louvre, and then a class on Leonardo da Vinci, and one on the Renaissance in Italy, and one on Dutch art, especially Hals and Rembrandt, and one on modern French art, or 2 on modern French art.
Yes.
So it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for me. It's
wonderful. These are classes where seniors enroll at the Center for Lifelong Learning, and so the seniors are enjoying your lectures and your pictures.
The seniors for so long.
Yeah, well, you should be on the other end, but you're teaching, and teaching is your love.
Yeah, I enjoy those classes very much, and as I said, the older people are very responsive. They laugh at the right time. Often my students in the regular classes aren't quite as sharp as the older people.
Well, they have a long ways to go.
Yeah.
They gain that with wisdom and with time and experience.
So. Yeah.
Dr. Haddox, we're almost out of time with our interview, but I wanted to ask you, what message do you have for us seniors, baby boomers that are coming up to stay mentally alert as you have and
I think it's wonderful. The Center for Lifelong Learning has been a dream, and ever since it's been there, I've participated, and I love those classes. It's so great to see persons who are older. Some of them can hardly walk, but they can sure think.
Yes.
And they can talk, and they can respond. I have a daughter who teaches classes on Shakespeare for the Center for Lifelong Learning. She teaches at community college, and those classes are very popular, and the students love those classes.
Yes.
So it's just been such a great opportunity for me to be with the older people and to see how alive they are. And to me, that's the thing you have to do, is keep your mind going, keep having new challenges, new things. I love to teach new classes, things I never taught before, because it's always a challenge to start things out again.
Well, it's difficult to say, but we love to celebrate life here, and especially life like yours. experiences like yours, your love for El Paso,
Yes.
your love for your wife Carmen,
Yeah.
and all your beautiful children, and of course the University of Texas at El Paso, that used to be Texas Western College when you started in the 50s.
Yeah, it was Texas Western, yeah.
Dr. John Haddox,
Yeah.
you are a marvelous person, and we celebrate with you.
You embarrass
I want to
me.
thank you for everything you've done for us, for this
Oh.
community, for our students.
Well, I want to thank the community for all they've done for me.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, unbelievable. Dr. John Haddox from UTEP, and he's still teaching. Thank you for staying with us. I met the most interesting gentleman just the other day. As we all meet interesting people throughout our lives, I attended a home care association meeting, and there he was, Reuben Beckham.
Beckham.
And Reuben is a thanatologist.
It's a little bit of a difficult word. It comes from the Greek god Thanatos. And what it is that it's the study of death. It combines three separate disciplines, which is the physical, the psychological, and the spiritual aspect of what we call death. In reality, there is no death. I myself had a death experience, March 21st of 1993, and I was given the revelations that I should be doing something other than what I was doing with my life. I was doing the international banking, being a jet setter and playing polo, but I had other things that were planned for me. In my death experience, I was given a revelation that I had not finished my work here. So I came back. I went to school at the University of America, World University of America in Ojai. And my experience there was such that I knew a little bit more about what death is all about than what the professors did.
Uh-huh.
It brought me into hospice.
Yes, because you're with Global Hospice Care,
Yes.
and you deal with the hospice programs here in El Paso.
I've just moved to El Paso, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach as many people to realize that hospice is really not about death. Hospice is about giving the quality of life for whatever life is remaining.
Yes.
And consequently, you need to prepare for this. It's one of the most wonderful journeys that a family can have in caring for their loved ones, in bringing the family together and teaching them what real compassion and understanding is. So in this manner, you bond the family in such a way. And I've seen so many beautiful healings, 20-year family rifts, that by hospice being there, they no longer have to pay attention to the aspects of the physical, this is happening, the other is happening, because we know we are professionals at it and we can explain. We prepare the family for that final journey. Consequently, the family can spend the time with their loved one and not worry about the outside mechanics of this care. It's something that is spiritual, because we are more than the body.
Yes.
We are the soul.
And the soul never dies.
The soul never dies.
The spirit never dies.
No.
The body does.
Yes.
This time on earth does.
Dust to dust, ashes to ashes. In the book of Genesis, where it says, God created man out of the dust of the earth and blew the breath of life into his nostrils, and man became a living soul. What are we? We are the soul. We are that breath of God. This is what hospice is about: love, caring, compassion, understanding.
It's beautiful. You know, your loved one needs hospice, and then we go, ooh, death.
But it's not about
It's
death.
not.
No, it's about living a fuller
misconception.
life.
Yes.
With families coming out of the experience itself, there's so much difference in the world. And if we can reach as many people to understand that death is merely another passage of life.
Like when we were born.
Exactly.
That's another passage.
The mystery of death, like the mystery of birth, they're all hand in hand.
Yes. Wow. You're going to be speaking, and you speak to groups, don't you, about your work and about...
Yes. I'm hoping that I will have some teaching to the community. I'm also a member of the International Association for Near-Death Studies.
Okay.
So that is an enlightening situation for not only people to come and know what consciousness is about, what the soul is about.
You were a banker, high stress, you know, out there in the international world, more stress. Where does this calmness come? Were you this? Did you change? There's a lot of peace. I sense and I feel a lot of your peace.
You don't go on the other side and come back the same person, that's for sure.
Yes.
And this is the peace that I found in that spiritual world. The beauty, the magnificence that is there, in that we are more alive when we die than what we are here. So in that, we learn what the real values in life are, to help other people.
When people pass away and talking to elders that are close to the end of their lives, we need not be holding them back. We need to help them because they're going to be wonderfully happy.
Exactly.
Over there.
Exactly. If they realize that this is one of the most beautiful journeys that you'll ever go on, and it should actually be accepted as part of this journey that we are on, that it's merely a different stage that we're going into. So in the aspect of knowing what to expect, and looking at it, and looking at our religious teachings,
Yes.
every religion in the world speaks of an afterlife, because that is the truth.
Yes.
And realizing that the beauty that is there, the completeness, the wholeness, looking back as to what you did in your life and how you affected people positively, negatively, you see what the real meaning in all of this is.
This is fascinating, and we need to learn from you because you have a lot of things to say. Will you be speaking anywhere where we can invite our seniors or our audience that is watching today? Or where can they call you?
I have, like I said, started the El Paso Friends of the International Association for Near-Death Studies.
Okay.
It'll be a meeting that will be held every second Saturday of the month from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And they can reach me either at the hospice or they can reach me through EPFIANDS on the web.
Okay.
So
And what is your phone number? Where can they reach you? Is there a telephone number they can call?
yes, it would be area code 915-543-6060.
And you already had your first meeting.
Yes, yes.
I bet Barbara will be there. And maybe even Ofelia and myself. These are our wonderful volunteers for Mature Living, and maybe we'll join you over there, Reuben.
I would really love to have you.
And we didn't talk about your background. You're from Mexico, and you speak very, very good Spanish too, don't you?
I was born in Cananea, Sonora. My father was a Texan from Killeen, Texas. And he moved to Arizona and consequently to the state of Sonora before it was Sonora, before Arizona was a state. So I grew up with the language, I grew up with a culture, so I know what it is to see the life in the reality of it.
Wonderful. Well, it was great meeting you and talking with you. We've been talking with Reuben Beckham, and we'll invite him again. How many of you wanted to draw out the best in you? Well, we have a teacher today. Her name is Isela Garcia, and she's going to teach us about how we can be the best in whatever we're doing. And she has some very special techniques that she learned in modeling school. She's an El Pasoan, and she's ready to answer your questions. She's gonna, at the end of this show, she's going to give us her phone number. What can you teach us about drawing out the best in us? And what is it that you teach when you speak before groups or give presentations?
Oh my gosh, well, it's so varied, but it's really wonderful what I feel I teach. I work with a person from head to toe, and that involves holding the head up, which is good to avoid a double chin later on in life.
And we can use...
Placing a book over the head, which is excellent for this,
Oops.
for the posture. And not only that, but whenever you have, you hold your shoulders back, that helps to lift up the bust line, give it a nice firm look.
And your breathing is better.
And well, not only that, but it helps to hold in the midriff along with the stomach. Now,
And it even gives you height, doesn't it?
yes, it does.
Your spine.
Yes, because you tend to, slouch over, and this way you add maybe an inch, or perhaps could even be 2. But it's very beneficial.
We
for
know of
all
the
body.
profile as our profile of the face, and that's all we know, most of us. Are there other
right.
profiles of
There is a profile of the hand,
the hand?
and there's a profile of the body, which is your torso. But let me show you the profile of the hand. You place your hand down. Okay. Now, I need you to kind of close your fingers just a little bit and pretend you're holding it. Although this finger is going to be right over the thumb, the thing, that's your index
It's going to
finger.
rest right on the thumb.
Okay. Now, you hold these fingers down. You bring up the hand, and it's almost like little steps. You have 3 little steps there. And as long as this pen can glide in easily, you're all right. But when that fingers are too loose and you do this, then it's really taking away the beauty of the hand.
Wow.
So you see this side here, that's one profile, that's another profile, this is another profile, and let's turn it all the way around. This would be your 4th profile.
So we need to be cognizant and aware of our hands, the posture of the hand,
Exactly.
the posture of the body.
The positioning of the hands,
The
and
head.
of course, your face. Your face is something that every person should be happy with to have.
And if you're not used to this, you feel a little awkward.
Oh no,
I
it
feel
does,
a little
because
awkward.
it takes training for everything. You have to, with practice, it has to become a part of you.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's not going to work. But you have to want for it to be a part of you.
Yes.
Now, if your everyday life, of course, when you're home cleaning, you don't have to be so, delicate.
So
or
concerned
anything.
about your posture.
But anywhere when you're
In public?
out in public, any way that you might have the hand, even down here, holding the hand down, people will see all views of the hand.
Wow.
Without you even
amazing.
noticing.
And so it's about self-confidence. It's about demonstrating self-confidence. It's about having the courage to change your old habits that maybe don't make you look the best as you can be.
Exactly.
And we're always trying to do the best in what we do. And in these videos that you've designed, there's the first video and then a part 2 for classes that people can take.
Exactly.
Where can they call you if they're interested in
Well,
your
they're free to
classes?
call me at home, and my telephone number is 593-7115. I have a website, www.best, B-E-S-T, and then -in-u.com.
Okay.
And
What is your background? And I know you have other things. We'll probably show it in the screen at the end of this interview. But I wanted to ask you, where does this background come from? You worked in El Paso since you were young. You're an El Pasoan. Tell me about your background, where you worked. That's always so fascinating.
well, oh my gosh, first of all, I learned of Mannequin Manor. That was a modeling
I
school.
remember the mannequin.
I
Man.
attended.
Modeling school.
Yes, and then I was the lead model for one of the Gilbert stores for 13 years.
Oh,
but I toured all of the Gilbert stores, and then Glass Apparel.
Of course, Glass
So
Apparel
it was
and the Popular.
It was a very fascinating job. I got my first break at the Popular because I was a sales lady in the women's department store in dresses, and Mr. Schwartz, Laszlo Schwartz, one time
Yes.
called me and he says, I need you to come to work right away. It was my morning off, and I said, all right. He says, and bring some shoes. And he says, well, wait a minute, hold on. And then he put a sales lady on, and she says, you need to bring some slips. You need to bring some hose. And I said, what? She says, just do it and come as soon as possible.
Oh, that means you were going to model.
So one of the models, the fashion show was on the second floor, and one of the models called in ill, so he put me in. And that's when I got my first taste. I worked with Rosemary McCormick, and then there was another model, Jane Garcia. Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, it was the most exciting but still nervous time for me. Yes. But that's when I realized that that's really what I would have loved to do.
And you learned so much that you're willing to share now with other women.
Right.
And that's the beauty of your work, because there's even a way to use your eyes. Tell us about that. I want to know everything in
eyes,
5-6 minutes.
The eyes are, of course, to see, but try to avoid, and so many times I see people walking and looking down at the floor, and once in a while they'll raise the eyes and then they keep looking down. Well, there's no need for that, because the eyes can look down, or they can look sideways, they can look around. And it just gives a person a more confident look, you know, a more reassured.
Are all of these rules and tips apply for anyone at any age?
Oh, definitely. And I would think, especially as women get older, they want to project a more feminine, graceful appearance, you know, and feel it also.
And you'll talk about makeup as well. Gosh, we'd love to have you back one of these days to talk about all entering a room, exiting a room. I mean, there's so much. I see here, you know, picking up an object from the floor, how to sit, you know.
How to pick an object off the floor more ladylike, instead of having to stoop over to do
How
it.
amazing. You know, it's a little late, but it's never too late to learn something new about
it never is.
how we look to others.
No, definitely
Thank you
not.
so much for being here, Isela. We've
Thank
been talking
you.
with Isela Garcia. She is the founder of the Best in You program, and she does have some videos, and if you'd like to call her, you can call her at 593-7115. Okay, thank you for being with us.